So, welcome everyone for this our second international webinar in this year. So we have today we'll talk about robot barn layout and labor efficiency. And please, I remind you that put your microphone and camera off during this webinar. And afterwards, when we have finished our presentation, you have time for questions, and we will share them afterwards. And this webinar will be recorded. So if you come here late or if you joining us maybe afterwards, so always remind that you are welcome to subform to our webinar, so we'll have the recording afterwards.
So today, what we are going to talk. So first of all, we have a very brief introduction of 4dBarn. Some of you which have signed in, they already have been in our webinars. So we give it very shortly. Then we will talk about the barn layout, and then more deeper about the things in the layout which actually have effect to labor efficiency, and then in general about the labor efficiency. And in the end, we will tell you how we can help you so that you could also could achieve results if you are investing to the robotic barns.
Yeah, and the reason why we choose this webinar and talk about the layout is because we have had a lot of questions from people. They are asking, showing us our layouts. Is this good? And what do you think? And what do you see? And that's why we want to jump into this subject in this webinar.
Yeah. Okay, but maybe we will start first introducing ourselves. So ladies first. Marjo, maybe you can tell about yourself.
Thank you, Joni. So my name is Marjo Posio, and I have been working here in 4dBarn since we started almost 10 years ago. And I am an agronomist, and my specialty is the robot barn management and calves and that kind of thing. So I'll help people to choose the management style when we jump into the robot barn.
And my name is Jouni Pitkaranta, and I'm an architect, and I'm a co-founder of 4dBarn company. And I'm pretty much the guy to which I just we have the picture here. So I'm the guy who is a little bit pretty much holding the pencil in my hand and doing those, because I'm an architect. I'm the one who is actually making those drawings. So doing like that part of this work in our company.
And we have made more than 200 designing like new buildings and renovation over more than 14 countries. And
yes. And also we have done so-called boosted surveys on 80 robotic barns, also in eight countries, and we have academy. We have lots of students there, and lots of people have been taking part in our webinars and seminars and workshops.
Yeah, like over 2,000, and like we counted, you have in this webinar we have more than 100 people joining in from 22 different countries, so we can also update this number after this webinar.
Yeah, so 4dBarn, so we are based on Finland, although we have like people who are working for 4dBarn. We also have like 2 vets in Japan, and then we also have like an emeritus professor in Wisconsin. And this 4dBarn, it's a company. It started on a farm survey about robotic barns in 2014, where we looked about the labor efficiency and management choices, and we found out that there's a really like a lack of this kind of like consultancy and work when robotic barns became more and more popular.
Yeah, and in Finland we have had like robotic milking since early 2000, and nowadays more than 60% of the milk comes from farms with the AMS.
In our understanding, Finland is in the European Union, the country which produces most of the milk. Most percentage of the milk is produced by robots. And we are also very proud that we have been working together with the Wisconsin University and Dairyland Initiative with all bar design related things, and that is something which has we have kind of learned things from them, and they have learned things from us, and it's very, very nice to work with this kind of people. And just I was mentioning about this boosted visits and visits in the robot barn. So actually, the very much the heart of the 4dBarn is that we have been really measuring things in robot barns, walked behind the farmers and employees during morning duties and measure labor times and observe things. And that is actually the very important thing in our mind, so that we really have a better understanding how the barns should work and what kind of like things affect the results. And actually this is pretty much what we are talking today.
Yeah, and this is very important when we do the design service, when we design layouts for our customers. We really want to go deeper behind the layout. We want to understand the work, we want to understand the management, and this is why all of our team members in 4dBarn, we have made this boosted service, so we have a better understanding about how the barns work.
Okay, let's start to talk about the barn layouts. And like Marjo was said in the beginning, that the reason why we have this subject now is that we feel is that when people talk about the barn design, it's very much around the layout. Like, what kind of layout do you have, and can you show me your layout, and etc. etc. And for example, if you Google picture with a title from Google robot barn design, and then you choose images, most of the images they are barn layouts. So barn layout is pretty much thought to be like the design, and that's why we approach now this question, that what do we get from that. And most common language when you talk with the farmers, they also like to talk about the layouts. They get some layouts, they want to share them, they want to ask about their opinions, and sometimes we also heard farmers saying that they comment from somebody else's farm that I like that layout, I want to have something similar.
Yeah, and maybe changing one bit of maybe the robot area or handling chute area or something. I just want to add something of my own ideas there, but otherwise I really like this layout.
Yeah. And the question today is that a good barn layout, does it guarantee so that you will have high production and high labor efficiency? And now, when we get a layout to be seen, layout can look something like this. This is actually, I was looking my old files, and I found this kind of layout, which I think I have done maybe 2006, so like almost 20 years ago. But this is just an example to see that what kind of information there typically is. And Marjo, what do you think when you are looking at layout? What things you see here?
Well, of course, I can see how many stall rows there are, and what are the feed alley concept. Is the feed alley in the middle or on the other side? Or what also I can see is the alley dimensions. What are the alley dimensions on the feeding table, in the stall area? And also, what are the robot orientation, in what direction they have put it in the robots in there? And what are the stall dimensions, and also how much there is a space in front of the robots. But these kind of things I can see when I take a look at the picture without talking with the farmer first.
And of course, there's always quite a big variation in the level of the layouts. What farmers, what they get, how much there actually is information. Sometimes even those dimensions are lacking. But of course, then you can scale the drawing and maybe measure by yourself that, okay, is this space enough, or is it not?
Yeah. But like I said, I haven't talked to farmer, so the layout doesn't tell what is the stall surface, what is the ventilation or cooling system, for example, and what are the working protocols.
Yeah, if for example, talking about the stall surface and ventilation and cooling the system, this is something where we actually we should be able to see the cross section and really see, for example, that is the stall is it with the mattresses or is it with the deep bed, for example, and those things we typically can't see on the layout. And then of course that just looking at the layout, and then you need to like always think that, okay, how is this barn located on the site? How is integrated to this to existing buildings and how much, for example, there are blocking buildings around it. This is something, of course, what we can't see on the layout. We should have some kind of like site plan for that.
And talking about the working protocols, I don't know how they move, for example, calved cow into the robot for the first milking, or if you want to move the dry cow, what is the path for that? So these things I cannot see without talking to farmer or talking with the person who have like made this layout. So I have to first discuss how have you planned to do this thing.
And quite often we are also not able to see that is there any planned expansions, future expansion, is this layout, can this expand it to the left or the right, or is there a place for like next robots in? So sometimes we can see it, but quite often we can't see it on the layout. But then when we think that what kind of elements in a layout, of course, all of them can't be seen there, but what are the crucial elements in a robot barns so that we can optimize labor efficiency and cow performance? So based on that, we actually have been ending up to this 13 different titles. And actually now we will just focus today to six of them.
Yeah. And like these are like our golden standards here in 4dBarn. So when we take a look at the layout, these are the things we want to see in the layout, and these are the things we want to people have really thought through how these work in their barn. And this is an example. This is 4dBarn traffic light layout evaluation. So we have like looked how these are there's a VIC pen, is there a food bath, is there enough feed space or comfortable stalls? And like we can see in these pictures, only few things are okay. Few things could be much better, and many things are problems or doesn't exist or we cannot evaluate. So what we want to really see that lots of green things in the layout, and for example in this layout many things could be like proven to be much better.
Yeah, so we developed this kind of like system because very often when farmers contact us and they always have a layout. Almost all of them have some kind of layout what they send to us. Sometimes it's made by a robotic dealer, sometimes like a local designer, and then they ask that, okay, we will have something like this here. Could you check it? Is this okay? And for example, just a couple of months ago, we had one client and they sent us like a renovation plan how to renovate an old building for robots, and we did this kind of like analysis for them based on their existing this plan what they had, and it was really like a wake-up call to them, and they really noticed that there was too little, not very much red points on that analysis, and they realized that this is really not the way to go, and they like stopped the process, and then they started actually to work with us so that they could get more free blocks on top of the layout. So, but then if we focus on the things which we think are important in a layout which affect labor efficiency.
Yeah, and like Joni mentioned, we have 13 things, but we only focus on 6 things because we have only 1 hour and we want to have the time for the questions. So we go through the stalls, the alleys, VIC pen, fetch pen, gating, and space around the robots. And these are the things which optimize labor efficiency. And that's why we want to discuss some of these things today.
But always the starting point is that always healthy cows, they are the ones which will increase labor efficiency. So if the cows stay healthy, we don't need to work with them, do any extra things with them, and that is the way how we really can make the things efficient. And the healthiness of the cows and cow comfort is something which you should never neglect, or you should always try to aim as high cow comfort as possible, because that is something also which will pay you also back for the higher production, but also with the better labor efficiency. But
so so first talk about the comfortable stalls. So they need to be soft and clean, and they have to be right dimension for your cows.
And when you do that, when you think about this from the labor efficiency point of view, from people point of view, so first of all, when you get the cows lay on stalls and they are not standing on the alleys, then very likely those cows in a robotic barn which need to go to robot have more space, and so they don't need to go around those standing cows. The alley is more open for them. And the other very important thing is that when you have these dimensions done in the right way, then the cleaning of the stalls would be also easier. And when we look at 4dBarn data, so in average, cleaning the stalls takes about 15% of the time in a normal robotic barn working shift. And there's a very, very big variation is that how did we, Marjo, count that? Was it so that it was like 5%, less than 5% for the best ones, and for some it's even way much more than 50%?
Yes. So this is very important when you're considering what kind of stalls you're going to have for your cows and what size of your cows, so you can have a right dimension. This is really, really important. So this is and these are the numbers, and these are the examples. Like Joni mentioned, we have made this boosted service. So these are the two examples from 4 robot barns. So the first barn took about 15 minutes per day cleaning the stalls, and the second one takes 73 minutes per day cleaning the stalls. So that's the difference, 58 minutes a day, almost an hour. So in a year, it's 350 hours. So it's 7,000 euros per year. And then if you think about it, your barn's lifespan is 20 years. It's 140,000 euros. It's a lot of money, a lot of hours. That's why it's important.
And this, when we are talking about these examples, this 2 seconds per stall and 10 seconds per stall, we are not actually comparing the best and the worst, but there's something in between. So this is a very, very crucial thing in very many farms, so that they are losing lots of money because the stall dimensions are not done in the right way.
So also we have to have open and dry alleys, and when the alleys are wide enough and cows lay in the free stalls because they are comfortable, they have the way to the robot is open. And sometimes we have compare this to this traffic jam. You're heading to city, this roads are not wide and there's not enough lanes, so there's going to be a traffic jam. So this is kind of like the same thing. You should have open alleys so they are wide enough and cows have a way to go to the robot when they want to go to the milking.
And for example, when talking about the distances and walking ways to the robot, when the alleys are open for the cows to go with the robot, then the distance doesn't matter that much, because quite often we are being asked that are the robots too far, are the cows too far away from the robot? If the alleys are open and the cows are laying on the free stalls, then this is not a big deal. Cows, they do walk, they have 4 legs. That's not a problem. Then one very important thing in a robot barn, mostly this is about animal health and production, is the VIC pen. So in a VIC pen, we are meaning very important cows, and those cows are close-up cows and fresh cows. And when they get the best possible environment, then they will stay healthy, and they actually have a better peak in the milking when they start to produce milk, and they also learn to be active, to visit in the robots.
Yeah, especially the first lactation cows, so they really benefit from the VIC pens.
And with the VIC pen, again, looking at this from labor efficiency point of view, that means that there will be less cows to fetch, and also these cows, what you need to really observe, they are under your eye, and you don't need to go and find them on the brick group. They are in a separated group, close to your eyes, and in a close walking distance for you to look at them and maybe treat them if you need to do some treatments with them.
Then we talk about the fetch pen. So always there are fetched cows, even how good your layout is, even how good your management is. Some of the cows, they won't voluntarily come into the robot, and that's why you have to have this dedicated fetch pen.
Yeah, it's still kind of like surprising, because at least in my own opinion, I think that the fetch pen is one of the best inventions in a robotic barn what has ever been made. And I have first seen this in Ontario, Canada, 2008. And I'm still surprised that we see layouts which don't have this, because this is really a very, very big help for the people.
Yeah, and like we have seen our data, even like over 40% of working time, it can be taken when you fetch the cows for the robot. So that's why it's really important that you have a fetch pen. Of course, 40% of fetching cows, you have some other problems there too, but even so, fetching should be easy.
Yeah. Fetching is one of those things. Of course, it's not only barn design. It can be, for example, that the cows have a high heat rest, or very often the one big problem is also that there is, for example, too much cows per robot, and that's why the fetching rate is higher. And of course, it also can be something related to the feeding. So, but again, from the barn design point of view, this fetch pen is one of the keys, at least, so that this wouldn't be the problem.
And we also checked our data and take also these two examples for robot barns, 220 cows. So the first barn took about 9 minutes fetching the cows per day, and the second barn took 125 minutes fetching the cows per day, and both have like 8 fetched cows, and the difference was like 160 minutes per day. It's a 705 hours per year, and it's, when you count it in euros, it's more over 14,000 euro per year, and in a 20 years lifespan, it's almost 300,000 euros. So it's also in fetching cows and fetch pens, it makes a huge difference when it's counted to hours and euros.
A little bit correct, Marjo. So in this first example, there's 2 cows.
Two cows
they
have less cows, yeah.
And 8 in total, and the fetching time is faster. Yeah. And then in this, there's 4 times more, and these are very like the numbers what we really see often. I would say that that is one most typical variation in robotic barns. If there will be how many cows there will be fetched cows per robot, from 2 to 8. I think that is very like normal, and this fetching time 32 seconds to 170 seconds. This is something what we have measured and calculated, and we have seen this in the farms.
Yeah, so we would say that 2 cows per robot is okay, but 8 cows per robot is something should be checked.
Yeah. Well, gating in a robot barn is very, very important, and I would say that the key thing is that one person must be able to move those animals so easily and safely, and there is not that big barn where one person shouldn't be able to do that. So always the design must be done so that one person can do it safely, and not like also so that it's also very, very easy. And of course, that means that when we talk about the gating, then the routing and working procedures and protocols by each task needs to be very well planned, so that we really have the gates on the right location.
So when you have the good gates and when they are in the right place and doing the right tasks, the handling of cows is, of course, it's easier, it's faster, and it's more safe, because we have heard that situation that people didn't have proper gating and they have accidents and that kind of thing. That is something we don't want to happen.
Yeah, and one thing what actually surprises farms when they switch from parallel milking to robotic milking is that in the robot barns, cows quite fast learn to be like fetched by themselves. Quite often we hear questions that when you fetch the cows, you need to find like one cow. That the people like think that then other cows like follow when you are doing that, but actually in robotic barns, cows are individuals, and this fetching is actually quite easy, because when you fetch one cow, the other cows actually don't care very much about that.
They already know that you are going to pick her up, so like they have this cut. Now he's coming. Okay, then we talk about the space around the robot. So the space increases robot visits, because especially timid cows, they don't have to be afraid of those high hierarchy cows when they enter into the robot.
Yeah, and this robot orientation is something which we see that it becomes way much more important when we are doing the pens, let's say with 2 or even with 3 robots. So we really need to think that where the cows are waiting to go to the robot, and also where they come out from the robot, and how do we handle that there is not like too much cows on those areas, because if those cows which are returning from the robot, they actually come on the way to those cows which are going into the robot, then we are starting to create some problems. And we will have, because of that, then we will have like less visits, and also there will be, because of that, also more fetching because of that. And that's why we actually really have a very high emphasis that how do we orientate the robot so that we really can, in a way, kind of like divide those areas where the cows are going in and where they are coming out. That's pretty much in our philosophy, that kind of thinking. But then we could start to talk about more about the money and about the economy. So like we said that in 4dBarn we have really what's investigated this robot barn efficiency already starting from 2014, and actually the last visit to a farm where we did the same survey, it was just maybe a month ago or something like that. So we actually do that constantly, and we measure labor times. We observe how the barns are working. And this is actually the example, the diagram from the first 53 farms what we studied, and here you can see in this diagram you can see how many minutes per cow has been spent per day, starting from 1.8 minutes, which is here, and then the least efficient one was spending 14.16 minutes, and it's here. And now the thing is that when we talk about this time, now we are talking about all tasks which are being done in a robotic barn with cows, heifers, calves, and feeding. So we kind of say that this is kind of like a Saturday's work. So you don't do anything extra, bedding or hoof trimming or something like that. You do only those tasks what you need to do every day.
Yeah, and also we compared how much they produced milk on that day, and what we saw that even you worked more minutes per cow, it didn't increase your number of milk. So it doesn't, working harder or more, it doesn't increase the milk production. So that's what also we saw on this survey.
Yes, and like you see that the variation, all of these farms are milking with the robot, and the variation is very, very big. And now if we just pick from, for example, here farm A, And this farm A is here, and they actually are they are spending 3 minutes per cow, and we pick the farm B, which is producing which spends 5 minutes cow per day. So now again, we are not comparing the best one, we are not comparing the worst one, we are just comparing this like group which is in the middle, and we take the best of that group and then the least efficient from that group. And now when we look again, we look at the money, and we have this example size of 240 cows. Let's say it will be barn with 4 milking robots.
On the first farm, this farm A, they spend about 12 hours per day taking care of the cows. And this farm B, they take it 20 hours per day. So the difference is 8 hours in a day. So it's 2,900 hours in a year.
And we counted this so that this 2,900 hours in a year, that actually means that it is like almost like 1.5 employees. If you need to hire 1.5 employees per year, at least, I don't know, this maybe varies in other countries, but for example, here in Finland, I think it is so that it's 1,900 hours per year is like if you employ a person, how much they can work in a year. So 1.5 employees.
And the labor cost here in Finland, it's approximately 20 euros per hour. So if we count this, is it 58,000 in 1 year? And in 20 years, it's more than 1 million euros. So it's a lot of money.
Yes. So, and actually this comes to the thing that why this design phase, when we really try to do things right, why it is so important. So like here we have this first one, this investment cost, but then after the barn is ready, every year it creates some turnover, and now the way the barn, how we do it here, affects what is happening here during these 20 years to come. And if we look at the numbers, this is a rough estimation, but let's say that we have a 240 cow new robotic barn, which costs 2.5 million euros, like more than 11,000 euros per cow place. Just like a rough guess. It can be some countries less, it can be some countries more. That is not important. But then when we look at this annual turnover, what we actually counted to be 1.57 million euros. So we counted this 36 liters per day. So that means that the farm is producing 8,600 liters milk per day, and the milk price would be 50 euro cents. So that ends up to this 1.57 million euros. And when we count that to this annual turnover, and we take this 20 years time when we watch that, it will be 31.4 million euros in total. So actually, this turnover value will be 12 times more than investment cost. And now the thing is that let's say that you do something here, and you in this investment cost, how much you need to do there that you make this turnover, for example, 1% better, or 2% better, or 5% better. That's why this investment phase is so important, and that's why we in 4dBarn do this design a little bit in a different way.
So let's jump into that. So how we could help you if you are looking for this perfect layout, this perfect management. And let's start up that having an automatic milking system, it's not enough. At the robot itself, it doesn't solve any animal welfare issues or labor challenges. So it's all about how you work with your barn design, with your barn layout, and how you really focus how the management goes with the layout. They work together. So that is the most important thing.
the diagram what we showed to you about this labor efficiency and the variation, all of these farms which were there on that where we visited and where we had this data, all of them, when they were buying the robots, they were expecting that they will get results in labor efficiency. Some of them got it, but most of them didn't, and that's why we kind of like figured out that we need to do the things wiser and in a better way.
And that's why our vision is to coach you to be an aimless farmer and help you to the design of the barn which suits your goals and management. That's why we always start with the management. And that's why all of our layouts are a little bit different. We don't have these ready layouts. We always start with the management. And when we have thought through the management, then we go to the layout phase.
Yes. So in order to get labor efficiency, you really need to think the things well beforehand. And we actually do this design the same way. We mostly do robotic barn projects, but we also do some hay barns, also some calf barns, and also some barns with not box robot. We also have done projects with these robotic robots and also with the regular haulers too. So, but the concept, the way how we work is different. So the way how we think that how do we get the most labor efficient layout? The typical practice how we have seen and what is how it's mostly being done is that people start from the layout. They try to seek the best layout, and then they start to think about the concept. And when we are talking about the concept, we are pretty much talking about the barn cross section. What kind of stalls, what kind of ventilation, maybe also in that phase how many rows of stalls. So they kind of like do that, and then the barn is being built, and then when the barn has been built, then you start to think, okay, how I'm gonna work here, what kind of protocols I can have here, and how do I do certain like those tasks what I need to do with the cows. But in 4dBarn, we do it differently. We always start from the concept, and the concept for us is first of all the big picture. It's about the future expansions. And then quite often we very much start about this cross section, so that what kind of like ventilation system you will have, and what kind of stalls you are thinking, and how many rows of stalls you are thinking. Again, based on the goals what you have, and then we start to do the working protocols when we are in the design, in the planning phase, and those two things create to us a layout. And then when the barn is being built, we use the barn, the working protocols are already being done, and now we know how to do it and how to work there.
So it's like said, it's easy to change drawings, but it's very expensive to move the dry concrete. So that's why I want to do things in different way, in different order.
And one thing, how we also say that the barn is a tool. The robotic barn is a tool. It's a tool to make milk, and if we are thinking about the tool, your tool is, for example, a tractor. You are a farmer and you have a tractor. If you are disappointed to your tractor, you can sell it and you can buy a new one, different brand. And maybe you're losing a little bit money because you bought that wrong brand tractor. But when you have the barn, then you can do that because you have dry concrete and it's very difficult to change. Or the other thing is that you are doing a wrong feed ration for your cows. Well, then the milk goes down. But then you know that, okay, it was because of feed. Then your next feed plan is better, and you get your milk back. But again, with the barn, you have dry concrete. You just need to do it right when you are designing it, when you are building it.
And we work together with the dealers and with the advisors. Even we are like independent operators. We work with all the dealers. Because dealers have the best knowledge about their machinery, of course, and also dealer benefits. The more the functional the barn is, how the farmer is doing. So it benefits all.
Yes, and we are very like happy that we also have actually we have had already some of the projects which we have been doing actually quite close to dealers, and I think so far when we have been asking the feedback, this dealer they were pretty like satisfied, so that the process they also thought that it was very supportive also for their business. So we also have already done that very closely. Quite often in a normal process we anyway we will be doing things together with the dealers when we, for example, think about the robot area and what kind of equipments spaces there needs to be, and that is of course something what we always do with a very open mind.
Yeah, and in many project farm advisors work us closely together because they have the best knowledge about certain things in the farm, and of course we want to have them involved in the design process, so because they know about the farm, they know about their strength and management and what kind of things we should focus when we go on with the design phase. So that's why we want to, of course, get the team together, get the best design for the farmer.
And sometimes, actually, some of the advisors who have been listening to us, who have heard about us, they have been in our webinars, our seminars. They have actually been the message tellers to their clients that, okay, maybe this is the company you should work with, because they kind of know how to do things. And again, the thing is that we all need each other. So and it will be win-win-win situation when we all work closely together. Then the farmer also will get the best results.
And very often, when we start with the farm, we start with the 4dBarn Invest service. So we made this strategic plan for your farm for the next 20 years. It includes the farm site plan, and analyze about the new current farm and the buildings, and it's kind of it's like a roadmap to the future. So this is very often the starting point when we start work with the new farm.
Yeah, this kind of like long-term planning and vision and really thinking about this like the future. And looking at the things very much from the bird view, it's really kind of like a fundament for the project what is coming up. We sometimes have jumped into projects where we haven't been able to do that, where we haven't done that, and sometimes we see that it should have been there, because sometimes the minds are chasing quite fast, because this kind of thinking about the long-term thinking has not been there yet. So that's why it's very important.
Yes, and the second phase is this 4dBarn design. This is the kind of like the layout phase, this management phase. So there is where we jump into these more detailed things. So you're going to get a functional layout and gate design and scalable design with the future expansion in mind, and also optimized robot placement for maximum productivity. So that is kind of like the main thing, the main what we'll do here in 4dBarn.
So this will be our like last slide. So first of all, if you are interested in robotic milking, first of all, we have lots of videos on YouTube which you can go and take a look what we have there.
And our YouTube channel, and then we have also a lot of articles and blogs and that kind of things in our 4dbarn.com, in our website. And if you want to, we have also like web shops there, and you can buy an e-course or webinar, and we have a special offer for you, and you get 50% off with the code 2025 labor webinar 50, and it's valid until this month. So please buy even all the webinars or e-course in a web shop, so you will learn more about our things, our VICs or gates or that kind of thing. So please visit our website and web shop.
And of course, if you want to talk about your plans, like we say that we have this evaluation of your, if you have a barn layout, what you are thinking, if it's good or not, then we can offer you this traffic light like evaluation. And in general, if you want to talk with us, you are absolutely okay to book a free of charge meeting with us, and we'll very much discuss about your things, and then we can see that if there's any place how we can help you.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
this our contact
Our
information.
contact information. Yeah. Sorry.
And
so please send us an email or visit our website. So we'll really happy to help you.
yes, but we wish you a very happy summer. But before we say that, I think we have some time. So if there are there any questions, and if there are any questions, you are absolutely okay. For example, open your microphone if you want.
Maybe you could put the contact information slide
Oh,
back there.
sorry.
During this, when we go through these questions.
Yep.
And do we have Antti? Antti is helping us today. Our Antti Puuri. Can you help us with the questions? Is there any in the chat?
Yes, I'm here, but so far we don't have any questions in the chat. So feel free to open your mic or write the questions to the chat.
So I don't. I think we pretty much with Marjo. Did we really? Always when there's no questions, people are saying that, okay, did we really told everything? Very likely we did.
There are some questions, Jouni. Just
okay,
wait.
excellent, good.
Yes. Okay, so it's about good information about lactating cow barn. What advice would you give for dry cow barns and calving pens? What have you found it most important in their layout and protocols?
Okay, well, first of all, about dry cows. The one general thing is that the understanding about the importance of the like environment of dry cows has become more and more like bigger. For example, the last research emphasizes, for example, the cooling of the dry cows, so that you need to focus pretty much on dry cows because they are carrying this small baby. And that's why the cooling is very important. That's maybe the first thing which comes into my mind when we are talking about the dry cows.
Yeah, and I couldn't say more than space, enough square meters, because often we see they are too small, they are too crowded, they are very dirty. So there should be plenty of space for the dry cows and the calving pen, so cows feel really comfortable. And they are easy to clean, so that's also a labor efficiency point of view.
Yes, and about the calving areas, that is very much the thing which is related to the size of the farm. It's quite big difference if we are talking about the farm which has, let's say, 2 milking robots, or if we have the farm which is thinking about have 2,000 cows, and then the calving areas they will be different. Because the other system, typically when we do this robotic barns, which let's say are this family farm size, quite often we try to do them so that the calving would be as smooth and as it would need as little people there as possible. And then the very basic thing is that we really are big fans of this, so that we would have this close up pens with the straw bedding.
Yes. Then we have the question about what is your opinion on free versus guided traffic?
This was actually a question which I was expecting to come, because we are in every webinar we will get this. First of all, we have done some guided flow projects, and there are maybe some kind of like weak signs that they might be coming a small, like I would say the return, but what we have heard and seen and read that, for example, some farms are trying to do those so that there wouldn't be any pellets feed with the robots. So it is quite interesting. But I would say that the biggest challenge what we have seen with the guided flows is that they have been quite complicated, and because we also have done these labor surveys to the farms which have guided flows, the one very challenging place is, first of all, these like these smart gates. Sometimes we have seen them to be a little bit roadblocks, and also those commitment pens where the cows end up after the smart gate. Sometimes the very shy cows have been waiting to get in the robot there quite a long time. So I would say that I think there's a potential in a guided flow, but maybe that there's also some place to improve them, and I think people have now learned maybe more to do them in a better way, those guided flows. So that's why I think now where they are coming back, they might be now a bit more better option what we thought like a few years ago.
Yeah, and there was another question in terms of efficiency, minutes per cow. Are the freestyle or guided traffic farm better? So you kind of answer for that. So
yeah, we can see there any difference, because we also have seen that also in guided flow systems there you need to fetch some cows, and in a free flow system, when you do things right, the fetch rate is very, very low. So I don't see that to be a decision maker to which direction to go. I think it's also about the way how you want to manage the cows, and like I said, I think the guided flows also can be done in a very, very very clever way.
Yeah. And then there's a question about the feeding. So a question about concentrate feeding in the robot. How much a difference does a good concentrate make in terms of robot visits? And have you found any key things the good robot concentrate must have? So there's a long time where I have made feeding plans and these kind of things. So I don't know what the key ingredients they are, feed advisors on the line. If someone wants to help me with this question, I'm not sure. But what I have found at the good silage is way more better than maybe how is the concentrate. So, but if someone else have a better understanding about the concentrate and what ingredients it should be in there, please, you can help me with this question.
Yeah,
don't even try to answer.
Yeah, the only thing what I want to say on this is that, of course, it also depends that what country we are talking about, and what else, what kind of things are on this PMR, what are there, and what can be on the pellets, and this is a field where we very much rely on the local the best local feed advisors. So that we are not too much on this feeding side. Of course, we at the same time we understand that it's a very important part of this robot barn functionality, and sometimes we think that should be really focused on that more. But then again, it's so much depends what kind of country we are talking about and what kind of feed there's available.
Yeah. Then there's a question about: do you think the separate pre-dry off group can be useful?
Separated
pre-dry off group. Elikkä siis tämmöinen erillisumpeutusryhmä.
Oh, okay, so dry off. Yes. Well, maybe Marjo, you can answer to that.
So here in Finland, it's very popular that we have this pre-dry off group, because we want to have this gradual dry off. We separate the cows from the main group. The ratio, the feeding is different. The group is different, so we think it's beneficial if you have a very high production and you want to make this dry off management very soft for the cow. So we think here in Finland, we think it's a good thing, and especially for those cows which are in high milk production when you should dry them off.
Yeah, and we also heard when we talk about the local vets that in some countries where this gradual drying off is not that much used, so there is like some discussion that should it be more, and should we be more prepared in those countries where we have this instant drying off, that should we be prepared for the maybe some regulations, also something that this instant drying off is maybe something which is not possible in the future, and should we really be prepared for to have this group where we can dry off the cow. And this is actually a very good example that where the management really affects to the layout. So if the barn layout looks different, if we have the dry off group which we need to milk, let's say 2 times during the 2-3 days, if we don't have it. So very good example of that discussion is really much needed already on the design phase.
Yeah, of course. And then the question about if you have 2 or more robots, do you recommend separating cows in 2 groups? What is the best criteria for separation, lactation of the cows or milk production?
Well, I would say that the projects what we are doing, we have always, if we can. Sometimes, for example, we have some renovation projects where we have the feeding lane in the middle, and we have two sides which have been milking power groups. Then, of course, in those situations, we quite often keep 2 separated groups. But always, when we can, we try to make like one big group, let's say, with 2 robots or even 3 robots. And of course, then we have this VIC.
Yeah, so the VIC is using the same robot, but they are in the different groups. So that's our protocol for that. And many of our farmers, when they want to put 2 or more robots in the same group, they say that because they don't have, like, sometimes they want to have like first lactation cows in the one group and other cows in the other group. And if you have 2 robots, of course, you cannot do that kind of like a grouping size, but what they want to have is like if something happens to other robot, they have still the other robot milking all the cows before that the guy who takes care of the robot, maintenance person comes on the farm. So that's why they want to keep the more than one robot in the one group.
But again, so that if there is a need for grouping, then we definitely would like to group the cows by the age, not by the lactation. Because if we group the cows by the lactation, then there will be like group changes for the cows, and sometimes the group changes are not so good. And then of course we also, if we have this grouping based on lactation phase, then we need to have less cows per robot for this early lactation group, and we can have less cows for the late lactation group, and sometimes that can be a little bit tricky. So like I said, our guideline is that one big group always, and then VIC separately, or then if you do the grouping, then do it by the age of the cows.
Yeah, and this is also a question I was wondering if it's coming, and now it's here. So which milking robot do you recommend?
I really like Massey Ferguson milking robot. That's a good one. No, okay. Just joking. So
we have had all brands in our customer. We have seen very good results with all the brands. So I don't have a favorite one.
Yes, again, the thing is that the robot is still a milking machine, and this is a question what the farmers and our clients. So we have sometimes discuss about this, and quite often we kind of like put it in that way, that what is important for you in robotic milking, because certain robot brands, they have a little bit like different. Some of the robots have different things than the others are not so good, and this might be important for some farmers. And of course, the very important thing with the robots is the dealer. So you need to get along with your local dealer, and you need to really like have the maintenance close by, and really things need to go on with the robot dealer, and that is one of them. Still, I would say the biggest thing, and that's something always which changes a lot in which country we are talking about, and in the certain country where the farm is located, and how close are the closest maintenance guys.
Yeah. So not always all the brands are even available in your area. So that's an important thing. So like Joni mentioned, those things are important when you're choosing the brand. Okay. I think the time is now 2 here in Finland. So
Yes.
I think that was great to maybe that was the last question. So maybe we can put it our webinar in the end. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, and for those who came late, and maybe some of you maybe like got this like timing wrong, so that you just came in when we already have done the presentation. So no worries. So this has been recorded, and actually there's still more to come in. Then you will get the recording, I would say, within few days. I guess you will get the link, and then you can see it again. So no worries if you missed this, and if you came a little bit like late. So no worries about that. You will get that
Afterwards. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Joni, and
thank you, Marjo.
Yeah, and thank you for the nice questions, and thank you for participating. And hopefully see you afterwards, the next webinar, maybe in some meeting if you have interest in those. So just don't hesitate to put us some email.
Yes, thank you very much, and I think now we wishing you the very like happy summertime. I don't know if for some people we could maybe tell like lots of nice sunshine, but I know that because some of you are really struggling with lots of like hot weather. So let's hope rain those who wish it, and sunshine for those who wish that.
Yes.
Yes.
Everything for everyone.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, and see you on the next time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.